Hello, and welcome back to my humble show. I don't have long before I have to go back to work, so I'm going to rush through as much Hunter Biden news as possible. This is my third podcast on this new channel of mine. It is interesting. The first podcast has 100 views to be exact. The second podcast, which I recorded late last night, technically early this morning, has approximately 0 views. It's almost like the algorithm is very selective. But maybe it's just that I'm not giving my videos the correct title. Maybe I'm just not giving my videos enough time. It just seems like my last one about Donald Trump has no spread whatsoever. On the other hand, my first one about Vivek Ramaswamy, well, for my first podcast on this channel, I cannot complain. We'll see what happens with this one. I'm going to be talking about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. We'll see if the algorithm looks kindly upon me. I'm not even fully verified on this channel yet. I was rejected. I appealed and was rejected again. So, I'll try again in a month, I believe. I believe that's how long I have to wait. But yes, hello and welcome back to my humble show. I'm your host for today and every other day, the Articulate Thinker, hopefully, here to bring you art, articles, and articulation straight from Articulation Station. So be sure to like, subscribe, and enjoy the ride. Don't forget to turn on those bell notifications while you're at it. Pardon my rambling. I do want to cover the news. I just thought I'd think out loud there for a moment or two. Feel free to disagree with me on anything I may say, and I may say some disagreeable things. Let me know in the comments below what you think. All right, first headline from Fox News. This one is from August 7th. Joe Biden letter to Devon Archer underscores his closeness to Hunter Biden's business activities. And you know what? Since we're talking about Devon Archer, in regards to the Bidens, I want to go back in time a little bit further. Click on this one. This article from Fox News. The headline reads, Devon Archer, Hunter Biden Burisma execs called D.C. to get Ukrainian prosecutor fired. Of course, this in the lead up to Joe Biden's quid pro quo of the Ukrainian government in order to get Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin fired. But is this selective interpretation? Here in the headline, I've run into some very clickbaity headlines today. And so you never know if what it says is to be taken literally. And the following caption, Devon Archer testified for hours at the House Oversight Committee Monday. Yes, this article was published on July 31st. And I don't want to read through it necessarily, but I will pull up the transcript of the congressional hearing, or whatever you want to call it, Committee on Oversight and Accountability, U.S. House of Representatives, Washington, D.C. There's the text. Interview of Devon Archer. All right. It has been a minute. July 31st since this took place. And since then, Devon Archer has gone on to interview with Tucker Carlson, who used to be a member of Fox News, who is now a member of Twitter, or shall I say X. He has his own podcast, or whatever he calls it, on X. And he got an exclusive with Devon Archer after the testimony, after the testifying. So he spoke to some of the same things he had already spoken to. It all lines up. People on the left are saying, well, he's not saying that Joe Biden was literally making deals with Hunter Biden or anything like that. And people on the right say they were having an awful lot of conversations, which is contrary to everything we'd been told in the past. And then you get headlines like the aforementioned headline from Fox News. Devon Archer, Hunter Biden Burisma execs called D.C. to get Ukrainian prosecutor fired. Was it that exact As a matter of fact, well, there were a lot of calls going back and forth. And even if names were not specifically mentioned, or shall I say, motives, it seems to me that when power is involved, power is to be exercised. And yeah, name peddling in one way or another, to one extent or another. Either unethical or outright criminal. Somewhere in between there. I don't think it's anything short of that. But we're supposed to believe that there's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see there. And then, yes, back to this headline. Joe Biden letter to Devon Archer underscores his closeness to Hunter Biden's business activities. I'll read the caption below this. 2011 letter follows several instances emerging of Biden having awareness of son's dealings with vice president, or while vice president. Yeah, either or. Because Joe Biden talks to himself sometimes. All right, so here's Archer. This is a photo from 2014. He was in a game of golf with both of the Bidens, as well as this guy. But we're not going to focus on him. A letter from then Vice President Joe Biden to Hunter Biden's former friend and business partner, Devon Archer, underscores his closeness to his son's business activities. This was brought up in the aforementioned interview with Tucker Carlson. I don't know if that's where it was first made public. I feel like the information had been around. I just know that it was shown on there, and then afterwards, well, we got articles like these from Fox News, who missed out on some hot scoops since they fired Tucker Carlson, or they had a mutual parting of ways, or whatever they call it these days. Yeah. But we'll see if they actually mention Tucker Carlson's name in their article. Some conflicts of interest there. In a widely discussed 2011 letter, which Fox News Digital has also obtained, Biden thanked Archer for attending an event where he hosted then Chinese President Hu Jintao. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I apologize for not getting a chance to talk to you at the luncheon yesterday, Biden wrote to Archer. I was having trouble getting away from hosting President Hu. Who? I hope I get a chance to see you again soon. With Hunter. I hope you enjoyed the lunch. Thanks for coming. Biden then included a handwritten note. Happy you guys are together. All right. So Joe Biden said that he knows nothing about the business endeavors of his clever son, Hunter. Even with Devon Archer. I mean, there's this. Does this prove anything definitively? Maybe not. But it suggests that Joe Biden was writing a letter specifically because he was happy that his son was making connections with business people, which led to business endeavors. Not too long after this, in fact. Hunter was also at the State Department luncheon that Archer attended, and Fox News Digital previously reported that Hunter used that event as a networking opportunity to help one of his firm's clients secure an event at the Chinese embassy in Washington, D.C. There are some news stories going around about Chinese spies. Chinese labs. Chinese spy balloons. We already covered that in the not too distant past. But yeah, a bit of a threat. Yeah. China is on the rise, or is it? And surprise, surprise. Remember, 2.5 years ago, we had a former business partner, Tony Bobolinsky, say that the email from the laptop said 10% of the big guy, or 10% for the big guy, 10% of the big guy. 10% for the big guy, Jordan told Fox News anchor Martha McCallum last Thursday. Yeah, I guess I should have prefaced that a little bit better. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan said the letter's content further demonstrates how Biden had acknowledged or had a knowledge of and connections with his son's dealings. So that's Jim Jordan saying that Father Biden knew what was going on with son Biden. And that's specifically why he wanted to be involved, even if only for name's sake. In that quote I read, with the 10% for the big guy quote within the quote. The quote within the quote. Well, that's a statement from Jim Jordan. He says, the big guy is Joe Biden. We have the piece of evidence you just talked about there. This note from 2011. We have the WhatsApp messages. You know, the WhatsApp messages which said things like, I'm sitting here with my father. And then something about an ability to hold a grudge or something like that. I'll have to read it again. The WhatsApp messages from Hunter Biden to people within the Chinese Communist Party. Biden and his White House aides have frequently maintained that the president has never discussed business dealings with his son, despite evidence suggesting otherwise. The House Ways and Means Committee released testimony in June from two IRS whistleblowers who said Justice Department, FBI, and IRS whistleblowers, or wait a second, I already read the word whistleblowers. Whistleblowers who said Justice Department, FBI, and IRS officials interfered with the investigation into Hunter Biden, and that prosecutorial decisions were influenced by politics. All right, so Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and Devon Archer, as you can see. And there is no image, no photo of Tony Bobulinski in this article, but he's not the focus. Not for today. One of the whistleblowers, IRS Criminal Supervisory Special Agent Gary Shapley, said Hunter Biden invoked his father to pressure a Chinese business partner while discussing deals. Shapley oversaw the IRS probe into the president's son and said the agency obtained a July 2017 WhatsApp message from Hunter to Harvest Fund Management CEO Henry Zhao, in which Hunter alleged that he was with his father in order to pressure Zhao to satisfy a pledge. That's the relevant WhatsApp message. I'm sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled, Hunter wrote in the WhatsApp message to Zhao. According to the documents, tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand. And now means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction, Hunter said. Where's Hunter? There's Hunter. Top House Republicans have described the WhatsApp messages as a shakedown by the Biden family. Photos from Hunter Biden's laptop show he was at the then vice president's home in Delaware at the same time as the messages, Fox News Digital reported previously. And there's a link to an article about that. I'll see if there's a image from that day. Yes, there is. There it is. And there's the Corvette. And there it is again. I've covered this in the past, but it was on my other show, on my other channel. Not my other show, my other channel, which is now known as Articulate Thinker News Clips. I'll be deleting some of those old shows off of that channel as time goes by and as I accumulate more of a following here, more of a subscriber base. But for now, if you want to go back and see what I had to say about all of this and all of that, well, you can do that. But yeah, sticking with the script for now. The whistleblower testimony came in the light came to light almost a year after reports surfaced on an alleged voicemail from President Biden to Hunter in which he purportedly discussed his son's international business dealings. "Hey pal, it's Dad. It's 8:15 on Wednesday night. If you have a chance, give me a call. Nothing urgent. I want to talk with you," Biden is heard saying in a voicemail from 2018. "I thought the article released online, it's going to be printed tomorrow in the Times, was good. I think you're clear." Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that recording. It is a bit suspicious. It's almost like they were trying to say something without saying something. That's how these things work. The article Biden was referring to in the voicemail was published by the New York Times in December 2018 and documented a private meeting between the chairman of a now defunct Chinese energy company, CEFC, and Hunter Biden at a Miami hotel in May 2017. See, things really take a turn for the worse for the Democrats, especially Joe Biden, when, say, the New York Times is publishing pieces, presenting them in a negative light. If it's just people on the right, they can dismiss it as conspiracy theories. Kind of works well for them sometimes. They just scoff at it. But when it's their own, source of information that puts out information which is detrimental to their campaigns and such, their power and such, they get a little bit more nervous, a little bit more anxious. Fox News Digital reported Monday that Hunter's former friend and longtime business partner, Eric Schwerin, visited the Obama White House and then Vice President Biden's residence at least 36 times during the Obama administration, including at least 15 receptions at Biden's residence and a one-on-one meeting with Biden in 2010. And that is some new news right there. I have another article pulled up about that. I'll see if I have time for it. And last week, Archer confirmed that then Vice President Biden was at the infamous spring 2015 dinner with son Hunter's foreign business associates, despite the Biden campaign repeatedly saying Biden was never there. So if you want to claim that Joe Biden has not been lying all this time, I mean, it's kind of unavoidable. Maybe that's why he has been avoiding questions on the matter. He was on vacation for over a week. He's back now, but not back on track, talking about everything except for this. Except for that. No press briefings from Karine Jean-Pierre as of late either, so not a lot of questions have been asked, and therefore there have been no answers, which there probably won't be anyway, just excuses, or obfuscations, I should say. They'll just call it malarkey or something like that. Last week, Archer confirmed that then Vice President Biden was at the infamous spring 2015 dinner with son Hunter's foreign business associates, despite the Biden campaign repeatedly saying Biden was never there. Already read that, so I could skip past. See how much is left in this article? Not a whole lot. I don't have long, so I'm going to have to sing this song and then move along. Congressional investigators had asked Archer about the dinner mentioned in the 2020 New York Post report, not the New York Times, New York Post report, which occurred at a Washington, D.C.'s upscale restaurant, Cafe Milano, in 2015. The story revolved around an April 2015 email from Burisma board advisor Vadim Pozarski, who had written to Hunter Biden the day after the dinner and thanked him for inviting him to the nation's capital and allowing him to meet his father and spend some time together. I didn't mean that to sound weird, but suspicious either way. Hunter had served on Burisma's board and reportedly collected more than $50,000 per month. Big ones. According to the transcript, the investigators asked Archer, who attended that spring 2015 dinner. That dinner was I think we went over it before, but it was Vadim, Hunter, Joe, myself, Kareem, Mazamov, and a Greek Orthodox priest. A Greek Orthodox priest. Maybe someone from World Food Program, Archer said. And what did Joe do at that dinner? Did he have dinner? How long was he there? The congressional investigator asked Archer. He had dinner, Archer responded, and there was, on that one, I believe the first one was like a birthday dinner, and then the second one, I think we were supposed to talk about the World Food Program, so there was some talk about that. Right, but the fact that he was there seems to contradict many claims by the Biden/Obama administration. The White House did not respond to multiple past Fox News digital requests for comment on Biden and the repeated instance that he did not discuss business deals with Hunter, as the narrative has come into question. And before I pull up the other article about the visits, the visitations of the Hunter Biden associate, let me pull up this transcript one more time. This a script of the testimony from House Oversight Committee with Devon Archer. It's very lengthy, 141 pages long to be exact. I haven't read through it myself, but I'm familiar with some of it. I would like to make myself familiar with the rest of it so I can be as informed as possible. But in due time. So here's this. Hunter Biden's business partner visited White House 36 times. Nets yawn at news. I'm not sure what the last part of that means. This is from newsbusters.org. Fox News Digital reported Monday that Joe Biden's son Hunter, a longtime friend and business partner Eric Schwerin, had visited the White House while Biden was vice president many more times than previously known. Many more times. Reminds me of all those phone conversations, which supposedly didn't exist until suddenly they did, and now we're just supposed to believe that they talked about the weather all the time. Oh, my word. He was demanding to be in my lap. My cat, that is. In case you're listening and don't know what I'm talking about, my cat is now in my lap. In fact, Schwerin made 36 visits to either the Obama-Biden White House or the vice presidential residence between 2009 and 2016. All three evening news broadcasts ignored this latest revelation in the Hunter Biden influence peddling scandal. So how can Joe Biden have so many connections to so many different Hunter Biden associates, business partners, and yet have no clue what is going on? As I have said, he is either the biggest moron ever to enter the White House or the most corrupt president. Which is it? Maybe a little bit of both, all the above. A corrupt moron. Yeah. It's ridiculous, especially considering how much they talked, how close of a bond we're supposed to believe that they had. So, on the one hand, they're like super duper close father and son. On the other hand, they're like, they never talked about business at all. Just the weather. Instead of covering this news, ABC's World News Tonight, CBS Evening News, and NBC Nightly News wasted airtime by covering the Mega Millions lottery numbers. On ABC, the anti-American women's soccer team losing in the World Cup. CBS, that's a fun one. And another update on an investigation into a plastic plant fire. NBC. As the congressional hearing on Biden's botched Afghanistan withdrawal, as with that, I do want to talk about that at some point. I'd like to write out a monologue for my Articulate Thinker Monologues channel, because I listened to the congressional hearing on Biden's botched Afghanistan withdrawal. I think it's referring to the one in which the family members of the victims, though they probably wouldn't want to be known as victims, the family members of the fallen soldiers spoke. And they had some very compelling things to say. They did. That was yesterday, and I would highly recommend you watching that. Congressman Issa, I believe, took the lead in that. He made that happen. Yes, as with the congressional hearing on Biden's botched Afghanistan withdrawal, Fox News' special report was left to do actual journalism and report on the news, while the big three networks refused to do their jobs. Despite nearly 40 visits by Hunter's business partner, correspondent Gillian Turner reported the president insisted many times he never spoke to his son about his foreign business, indicating as recently as 2020 that at one point he never even heard of Burisma, the Ukrainian energy firm that appointed Hunter to its board. Turner even aired a clip from an interview investigative reporter Peter Schweitzer gave on Fox News' Sunday Morning Futures, detailing how Schwerin was a key player in the corrupt Biden family business. According to Peter Schweitzer, Eric Schwerin, Schweitzer and Schwerin, what a whirlwind, what a tongue twister. Eric Schwerin was the money guy. He's the guy that moved the money around, and based on the Hunter Biden laptop, Schwerin had access to not only Hunter Biden's accounts, but also Joe Biden's accounts. Right. Yeah, if you're sharing bank accounts, then you're sharing business, to say the least. If that's true. Further disputing Biden's denials, Turner noted that Devon Archer, another of Hunter's former business associates, claimed in a deposition, that's the word I was looking for, the testimony, deposition, that President Biden actually attended a Burisma dinner back in 2015. Biden also penned a letter to Archer in 2011 after the two both attended the same lunch. Yeah, all that and then some. Writing, quote, "I hope I get the chance to see you again soon with Hunter." This bias by omission from the three networks was made possible by Angie on ABC, Insure on CBS, and Liberty Mutual on NBC. Liberty, bibbity. Okay, so that's all I have time for the most part. I was going to cover this news as well. Breaking from Postmillennial. Here's a headline. FBI agent Elvis Chan made false statements when pressed to disclose involvement in suppression of Hunter laptop, according to Jim Jordan. Internal documents obtained by the committee proved that Chan held a secret follow-up call with Facebook on October 15. So we've heard his name before because of all the Twitter's files releases. And now we have the Facebook files, courtesy of, once again, Jim Jordan and co. And there's a lot to get to, a lot to go through, so I'm not going to go through it now. Maybe I'll have time a while later. We'll see. FBI agent lied under oath about knowledge of Hunter Biden laptop. Talks with Facebook document reveals. Again, this is about FBI Special Agent Elvis Chan. Yeah. So he was in connection with these different social media platforms before the election, spreading some falsehoods and making some suggestions, putting it lightly, about censorship. Yeah, speaking of corruption. But I'll hold on to that one for a little while. Also, I had this pulled up. Hunter Biden business associates close with replacement Ukrainian prosecutor. That is interesting. This is the most recently published article, this one from the Washington Examiner. Yeah, we had Post-Millennial, New York Post, Washington Examiner, just in case I forgot to list any of those. All right. After then Vice President Joe Biden succeeded in pressuring Ukraine to remove its Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin, the next person to hold the job had ties to Hunter Biden. And this is about Yuri Lutsenko. And you know what? I'll have to save this for later as well, because I want to spend a little bit of time on this. Unlike Fox News, the Washington Examiner will reference Tucker Carlson because they don't have the conflict of interest there. But yeah, this is interesting stuff because a lot of people on the left will argue, well, Joe Biden only pressured Ukraine in accordance to official U.S. Obama administration, White House policy. Only pressured Ukraine to fire the prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, because he wasn't doing his job. And he wasn't investigating, he wasn't prosecuting enough companies such as Burisma. All right, so then what about the next guy, the guy who took over? Well, he was a convicted felon himself, the next guy. I mean, you would think if Joe Biden pressured Ukraine to get rid of one guy for a specific reason, for that same specific reason, he'd be interested in whoever the next guy might be. But we've never heard him talk about that next guy. In fact, we've never heard him pressure any foreign government to fire any prosecutor except for Viktor Shokin, the only one who ever investigated Burisma, quite literally. You know, after that, it was all wrapped up. And it sounds like the replacement, Yuri Lutsenko, had a bit of a connection with Hunter Biden business associates. So, yeah, that was the end of that. And this is the end of this. I'll lastly show you this list of prosecutors from Ukraine. You can look it up for yourself on Wikipedia. You'll see here Viktor Shokin's name. And he was replaced. If you skip down a space to Yuri Lutsenko, there's a Y added at the end here. Or, IY added at the end. Spelled a little bit differently than here, but it's the same guy. See? Yuri Lutsenko. And then over here, Yuri Lutsenko, but spelled a little bit differently. And that is just a side note. A little bit of information, since I'm an information junkie. I'm just a junkie in general. Wait a second, that sounds very bad. I'm not a junkie. Hunter Biden was, but I'm not. I'm a junk food junkie and an information junkie. And that's pretty much it. So, yeah. Here's some information about Yuri Lutsenko. But I'm going to have to wait. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Keep in touch. Keep it tuned. New content is coming soon. Peace.